Team flow is about how you make sure that you're creating an entire team where everyone's in flow, fitting off everyone else's strengths and weaknesses in such a way that you get trusted as a team by your entire organization in a way that you wouldn't otherwise. In a way that if you're in a company, your company gets trusted by other companies and partners out there and your customers because they can see that whatever is required, someone in your company has a strength and a talent towards delivering in that particular area. So how does it work? Well, we can take all of the 8 different profiles and we can talk about them from the point of view of them leading a company. But let's talk about the 8 profiles from the point of view of a role within a team. What you'll find is that at the very top, the creator, the role where they are very best, where they're in their winning formula, is when they're creating, right? It's when they create, as opposed to a trader, which is when they relate. So create is about your depth of vision. It's your ability to see into the future, to put a strategy in place. To relate is about your breadth of vision, which is actually seeing where everyone's at right now today, right? One requires intuitive thinking, one requires sensory thinking. So seeing the two as two opposites of each other, we can then go around on the clock and come to the star and the accumulator. And whereas the star is someone who will be the best to personify, which means that they're able to take the whole values of the company on, the product on, and actually live and breathe that and actually show others what it looks like and feels like to actually live and breathe from that place. That's the opposite of someone who is able to clarify, which is what someone who is very, very good at as an accumulator is able to do. An accumulator is able to actually see the priorities, see the detail, and step back and become detached, as opposed to star, who's someone who wants to become attached. And by actually knowing the difference and the fact they're opposites, you want to make sure you've got both sides actually being covered within your team as well. Then you've got from that concept of personify, which is when they're able to market so easily, to someone who's able to clarify, which is someone who's able to actually organize so easily. You then have the supporter and the Lord, and this is the difference of a supporter who's able to personalize, which means they're going to take time with each person to make sure that they're creating a role or creating a reward system that's going to suit them, and also going from personalize to standardize, which is now not talking about the people, it's talking about the processes. And you're going to find that Lords are very, very good at standardizing. They'll create the right process, they'll create the right standards, very, very different from the supporter who's very good at actually spending time to tweak for each person something that can be a little bit different. And you need both in order for you to actually start scaling the company. And then finally, you have the deal maker and the mechanic, which is now where you're actually going from the idea of connect, which is what deal makers do really well, not just connecting people, but connecting the dots, and then reflect, which is actually that ability to actually now start reflecting back on the whole company, what's working and what's not from a system point of view. And by understanding the difference between those two, that one's all about relationships and one's all about systems, it allows you to actually make sure that all elements of the company are covered as well. By the way, this all fits also into the vision, like the fact that every company needs to be able to see in 5 dimensions. As I mentioned before, depth of vision and breadth of vision are 2 different things. At depth of vision, those who are at the top of the line will be very good at something called perspective, which means that they're actually able to see perspective in all things because they're able to look into the future, as opposed to perception, which is when you're actually able to look at all the reality, what's happening right now today, and actually take your cues from that. And as well as perspective and perception, which is depth and breadth of vision, you also have the quality of vision, which is either going to be clarity. Think about clarity like black and white. If you want to take a really clear photo, it would be black and white, and that's what those who are on the steel side are very, very good at doing. And that's the opposite of color, which is basically the opposite of black and white, and it's what you're going to find that always the Blaze geniuses are great at doing, is bringing color and bringing the story and bringing the flavor into the business and into your message, and that's what really attracts the customers as well. Those are the 4 elements which then link to the 5th. The 5th is spirit, is what connects us all together, is team spirit. It's the way that in your company you're going to have people wanting to stay. It's through the culture you create. And that spirit is not about sight, it's about insight. And that's where you come in, to make sure that you're always looking, no matter what your profile and other people's profiles are, at what is the way that I'm getting insight as to who they are in order for me to allow them to see more clearly and to actually have a better vision that we can all then allow ourselves to grow within the company. Final thing I'll share is that if you're thinking, well, depending on which profile I am, which is the very next number of people I need to find, what you'll tend to find is there's a very, very simple 1, 2, 3 strategy. Take yourself wherever you are as a 1. So I'm a creator profile. So if I'm 1 on the square, I'll count 2 across, 1, 2. That will take me to supporter. The supporter is the very next best person that I could have because that's someone who's going to be able to support me. And then 1, 2, 3 is the accumulator, and that creates effectively like a triangle. Think of it like 3 stool legs, where the legs have to be separate in order for the stool to stand. And I don't want to have a team where everyone's the same as me. So having a supporter that's great with people, having an accumulator who is great at the details, that allows me to have at least a core team that I can start with. Similarly, if I was a star, that'd be number one. 1, 2 is deal maker. All the best stars have deal makers working with them who become their gatekeeper. And then 1, 2, 3 becomes the Lord, and that becomes the person who's actually following all the systems and processes. And so understanding, again, that is also a triangle that allows you to have a stable platform for your team. That's how this works. Make sure that you're thinking about who it is that you have within your team. Make sure you have also the sequence by which you're getting the right people on board, and know that you've also got wings, that there is secondary profiles as well as your primary. As I'm a creator as primary, my secondary is my star and mechanic. And what I'll do is whenever I'm moving too quickly, I'll actually lift my wings and spend more time not in being creative, but in actually the marketing and the system side of my business or in my team. And similarly, if I want to move faster, then I'll stop doing as much of that and I'll focus at my primary again, and that allows me to move forward at pace. Same for every one of the profiles. Use your secondaries as a way for you to actually speed up and slow down your pace and allow others to catch up or move forward at the pace that you're looking to achieve as well.